High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
a clash of styles, out in Setauket. We love those differing styles, right?
Top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring.
Week 4 in the CHSFL, we're under the lights in a frigid and soggy Mitchell Field as the Cardinal Spellman Pilots take on the St. Francis Prep Terriers on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Tonight's game is sponsored by Maspeth Federal Savings Bank. And a pleasant good evening, everybody. Alongside Jim Pittman, I'm John Perez. Jim, we've got two winless teams from two different levels. Let's start with the visiting Pilots. Their backs are against the wall, losing 3 starters due to suspension. They've only got 23 players dressed tonight, but their head coach, Bill Cawley, says they're getting better every day, and they've got the heart to turn this season around, mostly because of their dynamic running back, Richard Salonia.
Richard Salonia is a north-to-south runner. He's been a weapon. He's a guy you got a key on if you're St. Francis Prep. Look at me at the majority of the ball carries tonight.
Meanwhile, for the Terriers, they return home to Mitchell Field after falling to St. Joseph by the Sea last week, 34-28. The Terriers fell behind early. They were down 28-7. The lights went out at halftime, and then when the lights came back on after the electrical issues, the Terriers turned on the juice themselves, but ultimately came up short, falling 34-28. But that was not because of the efforts of their gunslinger, Isaiah DeCruz.
Isaiah DeCruz can hurt you on both ways. He can hurt you with his feet. He can hurt you with his arm. He's got a 128.0 quarterback rating, throwing for 5 touchdowns in 3 games.
It's going to be a fun one. It's the Pilots, it's the Terriers, and it's all coming up next on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
All right, everybody. Here at Guac Shop, catering is certainly our specialty. Our catering menu is comprised of various all-inclusive packages, ranging from 10 guests all the way up to 1,000. Our motto here at Guac Shop with catering: you handle the guest list, we'll handle the food. See you guys soon.
High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
A clash of styles, out in Setauket. We love those differing styles, right?
top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring.
St. Francis Prep prepares young men and women for the world of tomorrow by immersing them in the Franciscan tradition's 4 golden links: intellectual, social, spiritual, and physical. Facilities that are second to none. Teachers who instruct and inspire. Values of peace, love, and respect for the individual, community, and environment. High school is 4 years. St. Francis Prep is forever.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts.
That's complete. First down and more. Touchdown, Oceanside.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area's sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
Back here at Mitchell Field, the calendar turns to October, and Jim Pittman, we've got some great football weather tonight.
A lot of wet weather. Ball's going to be slippery. Ball control is going to be very important against these two teams looking for their first victory of the year.
Cardinal Spellman and St. Francis Prep both 0-3. St. Francis Prep out of the AA1 league. Meanwhile, for Cardinal Spellman, the A champions just a couple of seasons ago, they're in the AA2 league. 0-3 right behind Holy Cross, as St. Francis will be the home team tonight. This has been their home field as they make the trip east from Fresh Meadows, as St. Francis Prep losing the opening toss, and Cardinal Spellman will receive. Should be a good one on hand tonight. St. Francis Prep last week losing 34-28. They kind of went through the gauntlet the first 3 weeks of the season, losing to a very tough Holy Trinity team, probably one of the favorites in the Catholic League, and then a gunslinging shootout at Mount St. Michael, 54-48. This is a St. Francis Prep team that is way better than their 0-3 record.
They can put points on the board. It seems like when after the After the lights came back on last week, they took off, scored 21 unanswered points. Actually had a chance to come back and win the game against St. Joe by the Sea last week.
Well, and we know that there's a lot of fireworks in the St. Francis Prep offense and in the sky as well. You set those off, Jim?
No. No, it's my mom's birthday. Maybe she set them off.
Well, happy birthday.
96 today, so a little celebration.
I'm not surprised that fireworks is involved with St. Francis Prep students. Not saying anything here. I grew up in Middle Village. I understand how it goes. Anyway, on the other side, Cardinal Spellman, a team that is only dressing 23 players. They had 3 players suspended, including their starting running back and guard, and now they'll have to do it themselves, led by Richard Salonia, as this ball is tipped off, and we are underway as Nick Candace knocks it off, and that's Jordan Lewis, who will be tackled at the 25-yard line.
Brandon Francis getting down the field, making the first contact for the Terriers.
Jordan Lewis gets the uniform switch tonight. Used to wear number 7, now he'll wear number 9. But either way, a guy that can handle the offense, says Bill Cawley, and a guy that is going to be relied upon a ton tonight to navigate this offense for the Pilots.
Just a sophomore.
Spent the majority of the year on the shelf last year. He was injured. A rookie with a pretty decent arm, says his head coach. And we'll get a flag on the first play of the night. As we'll wait to see. Not sure if it's too many men on the line. But it appears to be on Cardinal Spellman, and it'll push him back.
They'll start 1st and 15.
So it'll be 1st and 15 from the 23. And Lewis, we were told, was wearing number 9, goes back to wearing number 7. And another whistle and an inauspicious start for Spellman. So it looks like they have too many men on the field. That was Jaden Diaz on the far side, who was on the field at the time of what would have been the snap, and this pushes them back 10 yards. So not exactly the best start for Cardinal Spellman. They haven't even got a snap off, and they're already back 10 yards.
1st and 20.
So it looks as if the Pilots trying to get the play off. Lewis taking his time, surveying the defense. And finally, we're ready to go. And Lewis loses it on the first play, and St. Francis Prep pounces on it. One play out of the chute, and it's Dino Caligiros, the senior, with the takeaway.
Spellman faked the reverse, and Lewis lost the ball. Caligiros right there in the recovery.
Simon Sanchez, the senior from Whitestone, had the initial hit, and premium real estate for St. Francis Prep.
Well, it's a wet night, wet ball. Tough start for the Pilots.
St. Francis Prep head coach Rich Carroll says that Caligiros is an old school soul. His best football's in front of him and reminds him of that Dick Butkus type linebacker, and already making his presence felt in the opening quarter.
He penetrated the backfield on that reverse play. Was right there on the recovery.
Well, there you see the quarterback, Isaiah DeCruz, who we mentioned in the open.
Yeah, that's how Coach Carroll puts his plays in. The quarterback comes over after each play, gets the call, and then DeCruz goes into the huddle.
So 1st and goal from the 10. DeCruz the give, and piling forward was Christopher Felly.
They went three back in the behind. They went three backs this time behind DeCruz. Went to Felly on the up back.
There is the starting lineups: Isaiah DeCruz, Dionis Best, Peyton Buchanan, Sebastian Quartarolo, Sharif Meminger, Tristan Hillman, and the line of Ethan Beer, Simon Sanchez, Joseph Keller, George Papanis, and Brandon Gill. As will be 2nd and 9, or 2nd and goal from the 9. And the handoff this time to the end zone, touchdown. That was Anthony Calora. He picks up his first touchdown of the season. It's an 8-yard run. And Prep, using their defense to cultivate their offense, they lead at 6-0 early on.
Here's Prep running the option. They fake it to the up back. Then give it to Calora. Senior from Whitestone gets to the corner. 6-0 Terriers.
This will be Petros Hazmatalis, the junior. 9 for 9 on the year on extra points. As he's been efficient this year for St. Francis Prep. And he drills the PAT. So a fumble, a run, and a touchdown for St. Francis Prep. Pretty clinical, Jim.
2 plays to get 7 points. Took advantage of the wet ball that fumbled by the Pilots.
So with 10:58 to go in the first quarter, we'll step aside. St. Francis Prep with a 7-0 lead over the Cardinal Spellman Pilots on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
After the fumble, St. Francis Prep marches 9 yards into the end zone for Anthony Calora's first touchdown of the year. As Richard Salonia bobbles the kickoff and picks it up at the 5, scrambles forward 6, and take 2 for the Cardinal Spellman offense.
Salonia will be their main offensive weapon. Fumbled that kickoff. Fortunately, picked it up, got it back for the Pilots.
Here's the rest of the Pilots offense. Lewis, Salonia, Brown, Pinero, DeJesus, Jonathan Graham, Brian Johnson, Elvis Langley, Isaiah Rodriguez, only a sophomore, Zion Smith, and Lionel Lara. This is an offense that Bill Cawley says at times has been challenged. It's very young, but had a good week of practice, and they feel that they could put points on the board if they just continue to run their sets, but they haven't faced a defense like St. Francis Prep this year.
Scored 7 points in 4 games. See if this is their night.
Lewis on first down, the give, as Salonia piles forward, and a pickup of a pair. Well, let's meet the defense for the Terriers, who come in, like we mentioned, 0-3 after a barn burner last week. Brian Daly, Simon Sanchez, Christopher Chavez, Ethan Beer with Anthony Calura, Brian Recupero, Dino Caligiros, Dionis Best, Sharif Meminger, Isaiah DeCruz, and Jaden Osman, the senior from Flushing.
Brian Daly's the leader of this defense. Really helps the younger players on the team. Defensive end, getting some interest from Stony Brook.
Yeah, junior from Oakland Gardens. Or check that, a senior from Bayside. He's become the backbone of the line for St. Francis Prep. And we should get a timeout here by Cardinal Spellman, who has not been in rhythm at all. We saw a few penalties early on, too many men on the field, followed by a false start. That led to them giving up the fumble. And Jim, things are just not going right now for Spellman.
Now, they're struggling, obviously. They got to get a good play off to help their cause. They got to take care of the football, number one.
Well, and not to mention, there you see the standings, and Mount just continues to have success. Xavier Zavarian, who we'll see in a couple of weeks, taking on St. Francis Prep. Holy Cross and Cardinal Spellman to round it out. The Pilots out of the Bronx, making the long trip to Mitchell Field. As Lewis will get the sign. They go trips, wide receivers on the near side. Smith battling with the rain, back to pass, flushed out of the pocket and throws it into the flat. And that's Pedro Pinheiro. First reception of the evening for the sophomore out of the Bronx.
Pinheiro with a little block at the end, then just stepped out, got a pass. Picked up a couple yards.
It'll be third and call it 2 from the 20. And Jim, you'd have to imagine for a quarterback like Lewis, who has not had the best start, just getting one completion, you want it to snowball and kind of continue that success, or at least build upon it to try and get back in this game.
The confidence is going to be important for this young man.
Pinheiro off the give on third and short, going towards the pylon, and might have a first down as Pedro Pinheiro ran about 20 yards just to get one.
Forced out by Anthony Calora, St. Francis Prep, number 8.
So we'll
Funny
see.
situation here, John.
Yeah, so a 3 and out for Cardinal Spellman, already down 7-0. In a game where ball management is going to be crucial for the Pilots. Oh, it was Langley to punt, as that was Peyton Buchanan back to receive. And it's a fake. First down and more. How about that? Zachary O'Regan.
And then a fumble.
And after the fumble, the Terriers take over. So just when they thought they had the first down, the Pilots still end up giving possession to the Terriers.
Fakes the punt, keeps it and goes. Turns the corner, gets the first down, and then gets stripped.
And that was Brandon Recupero. Guy who's got a good nose for the ball, a two-sport athlete, plays baseball as well. Gets another big defensive stop for the Terriers. So DeCruz on first down, fakes to Felly, and a big pickup of 7.
We're seeing 3 backs in the backfield for St. Francis Prep behind the Cruz. He'll run the option, fake the up man, hit the second guy through the hole. He'll keep it himself on a reverse pivot. Cruz can run the ball as well as throw the ball.
And that just proves why he's one of the more dynamic quarterbacks in this league. A guy that when you can use your legs and you've got 3 in the backfield, as the give is to Felly and nowhere going, maybe a pickup of a yard. But either way, when you've got the weapons that he's got, plus the fact that he can throw the ball, defenses are going to be guessing this entire year.
Well, last week against St. Joe to C, he was struggling because they felt a lot of pressure. Even with his legs, he had trouble getting the ball off, but in that second half, he really took off.
Third and 3 from the 26. Dionis Best, his first carry of the night, has a first down and more inside the 20. And a pickup of 7 for Best. And that'll move the Terriers into the red zone.
And here's a fake to the up back. And here comes Best over left tackle. Gets the first down for St. Francis Prep.
Well, we've seen a bevy of runs for St. Francis Prep, but also taking their time as well to get the plays off.
Best average has 236 yards on the year. Having 13 yards a carry.
That's not too bad.
No.
Here's Best. Take two. Inside the 10-5 touchdown. Right on cue. Dionis Best with a little shrug to boot. And the Terriers go up a baker's dozen in the first.
Here's our replay. Quick pitch to Best. Good block up there by Quartallo. Sebastian with the block. Best easy trip into the end zone.
What are you seeing out of the Terriers in the backfield that allows them to have the success? Is it up front at the line? Are they making good reads? What is it?
Well, they're doing a good job handling the ball in the backfield with the fake. They are containing the line of scrimmage. And put that together, getting success.
So Best will be called for the unsportsmanlike. That'll move them back 15 yards. So St. Francis Prep will go for two. Rich Carroll doesn't really like to kick field goals. He's got a few kickers. As Cruz on the two-point attempt, floats it, end zone incomplete. He had Sebastian Quartarolo, but couldn't hook up with the junior from Whitestone. And after all of that, it's just 13-0.
Quartarolo had a couple of touchdowns last week against St. Joe by the Sea. That pass overthrown for him.
Wait a minute, hold on. I think we got a hold. We didn't see any official make a penalty sign on the touchdown. So I guess they're just going to wipe that off the board.
Score remains 7-0, apparently.
Did I miss that? I didn't see an official come out and emphatically, all right, well, either way.
Thought the penalty for touchdown celebration. Apparently he wiped off the touchdown.
Well, here's Christopher Felly inside the 20. 15, 10, 5 towards the end zone, and he gets wrestled out of bounds on a big hit by Alfonso Alcaide. And this will lead to first and goal.
Felly on a handoff, going off right tackle. Lowers his shoulder. It's all the way inside the 5-yard line.
So 5 minutes remaining in the quarter. St. Francis Prep leading 7-0. And Isaiah de Cruz calmly going to the huddle to relay the signs. Felly right behind him. They pitch it far side. Kalura, touchdown. From 3 yards out, the Terriers go up 13-0 as Kalura picks up his second touchdown of the game, and Prep finally gets back into the end zone.
Simple, quick pitch to Kalura. Goes around left end. Cortolo with the block. Easy touchdown for St. Francis Prep.
So now we've got the extra point. It's Petros Hasmishalis. And he drills it. 14-0 St. Francis Prep. Late in the first. Their defense generating their offense on back-to-back touchdowns. And with 4:30 left in the first quarter, St. Francis Prep with a 14-0 lead on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
a 14-0 lead on the Varsity Media Sports Network for the St. Francis Prep Terriers. Alongside Jim Pittman, I'm John Perez, and Anthony Kalura, 2 times in the red zone, finds the end zone. And that is the reason for St. Francis Prep. One of the reasons, it was the Terriers doing a good job on defense that has allowed them to have this lead as Richard Salonia watches the ball go out of bounds. And good field position upcoming for the Pilots. But, Jim, what have you seen out of the Terriers' defense that has allowed them to cash in on offense?
Oh, still the ability to stuff the run, but they've taken advantage of the 2 Pilot turnovers. These fumbles have really hurt Cardinal Spellman. They got the fake punt, got the first down. Cardinal Spellman did, but then they fumbled. Gave the ball right back to St. Francis Prep. Cardinal Spellman has to establish the run with Salonia. Otherwise, it could be a long evening.
Well, and they'll get good field position at the 35. As Lewis, who had a completion in his last offensive drive, now goes out of the gun. They run the Wildcat, and that's Salonia. And Salonia breaks past the 41. A pickup of 6, and it'll be 2nd and 4.
The shotgun, actually the Wildcat. Salonia gets the ball. Follows his blockers. Goes off left tackle. Gains 6 yards.
His head coach Bill Cawley says that not big in stature, but big in heart. As Salonia will go back to the Wildcat again.
5'11", 175-pounder. Just a sophomore.
Gallops far side. Gets a first down and more. Richard Salonia out of the backfield, moving the chains, and another first down for the Pilots.
Here's Salonia again on a Wildcat. Gets good blocking up front. Takes it to the sideline. Turns the corner. Gets the first down. You got to keep it simple here, John. You got a good player, get him the ball the easiest way you can. The Wildcat's going to do that. Look to see St. Francis Prep put 8 guys in a box. Try to stuff that run.
And we'll see how the Pilots counter. Only 1 pass attempt by Lewis. And Salonia, not really much of a thrower, but hey, you know what? When you're 0-3 and things haven't been going your way offensively this year, why not try some new things? Salonia, the keeper, and he's pummeled in the backfield. Brian Daly with the takedown.
Lewis back in the quarterback position, gave it to Salonia. The penetration by the Terriers put Salonia on the ground.
Daly with his 4th tackle for a loss this year. And it'll be a loss of 4, setting up 2nd at 14. Salonia up the gut. Nowhere to go. And Salonia forced back by Dino Calgiros. Well, Calgiros had one of those fumbles earlier and making his presence felt in the backfield of the Pilots.
Sets up a 3rd and long situation for Cardinal Spellman. Seems like the Pilots have limited weapons they can use tonight.
Well, and Jim, you'd have to imagine, too, at this juncture of the game, you're already down 14-0. And at midfield, you'd have to imagine Cardinal Spellman's already in 4-down territory.
Yeah, they want to try to get back on the board.
Lewis short arms it. Salonia makes the catch at the line of scrimmage and picks up a pair. And it'll be 4th and long.
Gambling for the interception. John McLaughlin did not come up with it. Spellman gets the reception. McLaughlin caught that. He'd been off to the races. Now you're playing with a 14-0 lead. You can take chances like that.
And we'll get a Looks like there's a flag at the end. And a penalty against St. Francis Prep. Just wait for the signal. So third down after the penalty. Pitch back Salonia. Crosses midfield. And once again, Prep laying the hammer down. That's Sharif Meminger. Meminger making his presence felt.
Meminger coming up, the junior out of Far Rockaway. Salonia trying to make the turn. Here comes Meminger, lowers the shoulder.
Meminger, a guy that the coaching staff loves because, quite frankly, he's very coachable, looks to better himself every day, but spent the entire summer in the weight room. Gained about 10 pounds of muscle. And now we'll have 4th and 5 on the 48 with half a minute to go in the opening quarter. Spellman looking to get on the board. Play action pass. Lewis hit as he throws it. Incomplete. And a turnover on downs.
Too much pressure on Lewis. Had no time to throw the ball. Almost got caught for a lateral, but it was ruled incomplete.
That was Brandon Recupero and Christopher Chavez in on the pressure. And St. Francis Prep's defense continues to dominate this opening quarter. As the Terriers will go back out onto the field in their offense. 2 for 2 in their first 2 drives, led by number 8, Anthony Kalura, scoring his first 2 TDs of the year. A battle of 2 winless teams. St. Francis Prep has appeared hungry. And here's the hungry man, Kalura, to the 40, inside the 30. Ball comes loose. Spellman says they have it. And they do.
Well, John, we said prior to the game it's going to be a wet ball with these conditions. Another fumble. Here's the quick pitch. Claw around left end, following his blockers. Looking for a little extra. Crosses the 30-yard line. As he hits the ground, he fumbles the ball.
Hunter Burgos forcing the turnover, and that'll lead us to the end of the first. 14-0 St. Francis Prep on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
St. Francis Prep prepares young men and women for the world of tomorrow by immersing them in the Franciscan tradition's 4 golden links: intellectual, social, spiritual, and physical. Facilities that are second to none. Teachers who instruct and inspire. Values of peace, love, and respect for the individual, community, and environment. High school is 4 years. St. Francis Prep is forever.
Start of the second quarter, alongside Jim Pittman, I'm John Perez. Richard Salonia gets the first carry of the quarter and picks up a pair. Well, Jim, the defense of St. Francis Prep generating their offense. Anthony Kalura with a pair of touchdowns, but we mentioned the conditions here have not been ideal. We've seen 2 fumbles, 1 on each side. Ball security at a premium tonight.
No doubt. The fumbles by Spellman has led to the St. Francis Prep offense. And then chance to go up even further. St. Francis Prep returned the favor and fumbled the ball back to Spellman.
And it's imperative for the Pilots to put points on the board. They're a team that really doesn't kick the ball that much. In fact, only a few field goal attempts this year. As Lewis circling, throwing from his back foot into no man's land and out of bounds.
Try to get over to Jaden Diaz.
Sharif Meminger on the coverage. Did not have enough real estate. And it'll be 3rd and 8.
Might see him go back to this wildcat. Get Salonia the ball. That was a little effective in the first quarter.
Spellman coming off a 27-0 loss against Mount St. Michael last weekend. That after a 42-7 loss the following week against Kennedy Catholic. There's your Wildcat with a whistle.
Moving on the line, I believe.
And Cardinal Spellman's been their own worst enemy to start off this contest.
Officials having a conversation. Decide who the penalty's against. Spellman started his game with 12 men on the field. Now they get called for illegal motion. So, John, now they're going to be 3rd and long.
And it'd be tough to run the Wildcat with this distance, but if it'll work for them, they'll try it, and Salonia's in the backfield. Receives the snap. Gets gobbled up. It's Brian Daly again. You know, St. Francis Prep, they like to give stickers on the helmets whenever a big defensive play happens, and boy, Brian Daly continues to rack them up.
Just shot the gap. Here's the replay. Right in the backfield. Assisted by Chris Chavez on the tackle.
Another guy that was in the vicinity, Brandon Recupero. Boy, he's been fantastic so far in the middle for the Terriers defense.
Spellman forced the punt. They faked the first time they had a punting situation.
And got the first down, but then coughed it up. And a whistle. And this might be an offside, but not enough to move the chains for a fresh set of downs.
Sure, Coach Carroll is frustrated by that play. No reason to jump off sides.
So there's the punt, a little line drive punt as Peyton Buchanan will defer. And the ball is downed by Craig Middleton around the 35-yard line. 3 and out for the Pilots with 9:31 to go in the second quarter. Terriers looking to continue to build on their 14-0 lead on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Richard Sionis got the first down as he moves the chains. Check that. Sionis Best gets the first down, the senior from Brooklyn. He's just spent so much time in the weight room over the offseason, Jim, and continues to get better. But another guy that is a multi-sport athlete, he also participates on the track and field team.
He's having a big year, 236 yards in the first 3 games from line of scrimmage rushing.
Felly, the Middle Village junior, will move the chains, a pickup of 11. Second big carry for Felly of the half. And the Terriers continue to strike on offense.
Beating the Pilots off the interior line. Felly following his blocks, gaining 11 yards.
St. Francis Prep team that's just one game behind Fordham Prep in the standings, as Buchanan will pick up 12 and set up shop at the 30-yard line for the Terriers.
Cat, another running back. Terriers got 49 yards on the year so far. Another threat for St. Francis Prep.
And there you see the standings, and hard to believe that this is anybody but Holy Trinity's division. But you've got more Catholic and St. John the Baptist right behind him. St. Joseph's by the Sea, an impressive win to hold on against St. Francis Prep last week. As Dionis Best galloping, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Dionis Best.
Right off left tackle.
From 30 yards out for Best. That's his third rushing touchdown of the year, and the Terriers lead at 20-0 at home.
Going around left end. Good job again by St. Francis Prep on their blocks. Easy run for Best. Best, as we said earlier, was averaging 13 yards a carry. That was a 30-yard run for him.
Well, you're the mathematician. Now what is it, yards per carry?
In the mid-20s.
All right. Has Mihalis the extra point. And now a perfect 12 for 12 on the season. The rain is pouring, and so is the offense for the Terriers. They lead at 21-0 midway through the second quarter on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
All right, everybody. Here at Guac Shop, catering is certainly our specialty. Our catering menu is comprised of various all-inclusive packages, ranging from 10 guests all the way up to 1,000. Our motto here at Guac Shop with catering, you handle the guest list, we'll handle the food. See you guys soon.
St. Francis Prep, you couldn't have drawn it up any better for the Terriers on a Saturday night on Long Island. As the Terriers lead at 21-0, alongside Jim Pittman, I'm John Perez, and Jim, the defense capitulating to the offense, and now the Terriers on a drive down. We finally got to say the name Dionis Best, and boy, did he put on a show on that 30-yard run.
Got a good first step, went right behind his blockers. St. Francis Prep been keeping the ball on the ground throughout the evening. Ball control is important. 2 fumbles by the Pilots earlier and put them in a hole. St. Francis Prep taking advantage with a 21-0 lead.
Nicholas Pandis will kick this off. He's from the soccer team, a senior. And a short kick to the near side as Middleton tries to settle underneath it, touches it, and the ball goes out of bounds. And boy, is Middleton lucky that that ball just jarred left of the line. It could have been another turnover for the Pilots. Middleton, a senior out of the Bronx. In fact, all but 2 of the players on the roster are from the Bronx, from neighboring town, cities, whatever you want to call it, from Harlem.
Here's Zion Smith, number 72. 5'11" lineman.
That's a guy that has really been lauded for his defense this year, but when you've only got 23 players active, Smith will be used on the offensive line as well and trying to do the best that he can to protect. As Lewis drops it and then gets pummeled behind by Brian Daly. Oh, it's a slippery rock, and Lewis couldn't hold on, and Daly capitalizes.
You really don't want to throw the ball in these conditions, but Lewis has no choice. They're down 21-0. Ball slips out of his hand. He's lucky to get it back, and Daly applies the tackle.
Brian Daly now with 5 tackles for a loss on the season. 2nd and 15, and Salonia nowhere to go. Taken down by Logan Cross, the senior.
Obviously, the Terriers are keying on Salonia. He's their best offensive weapon. They've had success at a Wildcat earlier in the game. It's the same old story in football. If the defensive line penetrates, it's a lot of problems for the offense.
So on 3rd and a country mile, 20 to be official. Lewis looking for any positive yardage, but also just to avoid the safety. We saw a safety in the earlier game if you were watching on the Varsity Media Sports Network or the Yes app. There was a safety in the end zone for Lindenhurst, and they couldn't handle the punt. It went out into the end zone as Northport doing a fantastic job, just like St. Francis Prep has. Ground and pound football, but also a great job defensively. And if you want to watch that replay of a 19-0 win for Northport, you can watch it on the Varsity Media. Pass, and looking to pass Lewis out of the end zone. He'll keep it himself and pick up a pair. And another 3 and out for the Pilots. It just looks like men amongst boys. And how about the size of St. Francis Prep up front?
The penetration against the Pilots has been brutal. That time, Lewis almost got sacked for a safety, forced out. Fortunately for Cardinal Spellman, he did not get tackled in the end zone. Randy Recupero on a tackle, and the Pilots are going to be forced to punt again.
.340 and counting. Punt is mishandled, as this is O'Regan. And Zachary O'Regan taken down. Punt never gets off, and that'll set up the Terriers in the red zone again. It'll be 1st and goal from the 9. Well, Cardinal Spellman having a tough time with the conditions, and of course the defense as well of St. Francis Prep, as they've now made 3 defensive stops that have set up their offense in the red zone.
The ball's in on the Spellman side of the field the whole game.
So 1st and goal from the 9. Isaiah DeCruz. Christopher Felly going wide to the end zone. Touchdown! It's the junior, Felly, with the TD. And St. Francis Prep is pouring it on. They're up 27-0 at home late in the 2nd quarter.
Here's Felly on a crossbuck. Goes off the left tackle, bounces off. Keeps his footing and beats the Pilots to the end zone. Good balance after he ran into the line that time by Felly. Game like this with these conditions, John, he's going to get a lot of looks.
And hard to see why not. A guy that the Terriers will have in the future as well. A team that is looking to pick up their first win of the season. They're off to a good start. 28-0 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
A 28-0 lead for St. Francis Prep at home on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Alongside Jim Pittman, I'm John Perez. And Jim, that number and that score tells the entire story. A complete effort by the St. Francis Prep Terriers, as the kick will go out of bounds.
Terriers have been dominating both sides of the ball. Line has been the key. Kept the ball on the ground offensively. Scored 28 points. It's taken advantage of the Pilot turnovers. Pilots, with except a couple of wild-caught plays, have been really stymied on offense. Trying to get Salonia the ball, and they're keen on him.
Now, for those of you watching at home, the clock kept running during the commercial break, so we assume that the referees are keeping the time down on the field. So this might not be official on the score bug. But having said that, Jim, you look at St. Francis Prep. Now, they're playing a lower-level team in the AA2. But, you know, for St. Francis Prep, if they get a couple of breaks here, they're going to go against a very speedy Christ the King team next week. There's a variant in a couple of weeks and more Catholic. Not exactly the easiest of schedules going forward, but St. Francis Prep, they have an opportunity to get back to 500 and perhaps think of themselves as a spoiler and a good team that nobody would want to face in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, apparently this is a team that's getting better as the year's progressing. You know, they opened up with a tough game against Holy Trinity. I was here last week. They had trouble with St. Joe by the Sea, and the line, they were getting blown back. They weren't winning the battle on the line of scrimmage. Tonight, obviously, is a different level, and they're taking complete advantage.
Well, and how about St. Joe's by the Sea? They're 2-0, and you saw them in person.
Yes.
As good as advertised?
Absolutely. Jumped out to a 34-7 lead, and St. Francis Prep made a game of it in the second half.
Salonia bounces wide. Picks up a couple and gets taken down. Jaden Osmond, the senior from Flushing, first year in the secondary for the Terriers, makes the tackle. And that'll do it for the first half as the Terriers got it done in every facet of the game. Anthony Kalura, a pair of touchdowns. Christopher Felly had a touchdown as well as the Terriers lead at 28-0 going into the locker room. And, Jim, if you're St. Francis Prep, you couldn't have drawn it up any better.
Perfect evening so far. Ball control, win the battle of the line of scrimmage, take advantage of pilot turnovers, up 28-0 as we go into halftime.
We'll see how Cardinal Spellman responds when we come back. But you're watching Saturday night CHSFL football presented by Maspeth Federal Savings Bank on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
All right, everybody. Here at Guac Shop, catering is certainly our specialty. Our catering menu is comprised of various all-inclusive packages, ranging from 10 guests all the way up to 1,000. Our motto here at Guac Shop with catering, you handle the guest list, we'll handle the food. See you guys soon.
High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
A clash of styles out in Setauket. We love those differing styles, right?
top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring.
St. Francis Prep prepares young men and women for the world of tomorrow by immersing them in the Franciscan tradition's 4 golden links: intellectual, social, spiritual, and physical. Facilities that are second to none. Teachers who instruct and inspire. Values of peace, love, and respect for the individual, community, and environment. High school is 4 years. St. Francis Prep is forever.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts.
That's complete. First down and more. Touchdown, Oceanside.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area's sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net. You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
All right, everybody. Here at Guac Shop, catering is certainly our specialty. Our catering menu is comprised of various all-inclusive packages, ranging from 10 guests all the way up to 1,000. Our motto here at Guac Shop with catering, you handle the guest list, we'll handle the food. See you guys soon.
High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
A clash of styles, out in Setauket. We love those differing styles, right?
top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring.
Start of the second half, Cardinal Spellman will receive it as the Terriers lead at 28-0 in a cold, frigid, sloppy. It's SAT Saturday, Jim. I mean, I took the SATs probably 15 years ago, and I'm trying to think
before me.
Well, I'm trying to think of the right verbs to talk about the terrible adjectives to describe what is going on tonight with the weather. But having said that, for Cardinal Spellman, You could throw in the weather. You can throw in the defense of St. Francis Prep. But I'll have you put your coaching hat on. If you're Bill Cawley, what do you think the message was at halftime?
If you control the line of scrimmage, the elements are not a factor. St. Francis Prep has controlled the line of scrimmage and have taken complete advantage. And you got to take care of the football.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 20. As we've seen a few different looks behind the line of scrimmage. This time they go out of the gun as Lewis is flushed out, throwing off his back foot. Flag is down. And the pass incomplete. But we'll see where the ball is spotted.
It's going to be a holding call.
As that'll move Cardinal Spellman back. Well, Cardinal Spellman with an inauspicious start to this game. They had too many men on the field. They had a false start. The penalty was declined. And for Rich Carroll, when you're up 4 scores.
The gentleman.
Yeah. As we get a running clock when a team is up 28 points. Thrown into the flat, and it goes off the hands of Pedro Pinheiro, the short-handed wide receiver.
Pinheiro was healing footsteps. Knew he was going to get popped if he caught the ball. Was unable to receive it.
Well, Jim, either way for Cardinal Spellman, I know that they're not going to like the result of this game if it holds. But having said that, though, what do you think are some of the lessons that they could take going into this week? And if they can try and find any positives, what's something that you'd want to see them work on in the second half to kind of give them better momentum as they get ready for their game against Holy Cross next week?
Well, they got to take care of the ball, number one. You can't play from behind, which they did all evening. And they got to win the battle of the line of scrimmage. I mean, St. Francis Prep has dominated the line of scrimmage. They didn't do it last week when I was here against St. Joe by the Sea. And it's such a difference when you dominate the line.
And you know what? Richard Salonia's had a good first half, too. He just picks up another 7. And Salonia, definitely a fun piece to watch for this Pilots offense in the AA2 league.
Went over right tackle that time.
And having said that, let's look up the upcoming schedule on the Varsity Media Sports Network. A good one tomorrow. Cardinal Hayes and Chaminade, another pair of 0-3 teams, but Chaminade feels as the winner of this game, they could go on a run. Holy Trinity and Kellenberg, Fordham Prep, St. Anthony, Stepinac, Kellenberg, Chaminade, Holy Trinity, more Catholic, St. Francis Prep to round out the month. Salonia is stopped in the backfield. But how about a loaded Catholic League schedule and just how jumbled at the top it is in the AAA for the Catholic League? And it should be a fun one tomorrow. Cardinal Hayes and Chaminade, 2 teams that are 0-3. We spoke to Kevin Dolan earlier this week. And, Chaminade, a team that plays very disciplined, whereas Cardinal Hayes has a very controlled chaos, to put it very nicely. But having said that, though, and you want to talk about similar players, Isaiah DeCruz would fit in like a glove at Cardinal Hayes in the way that he's able to control the offense. Having said that, though, it should be a fun one tomorrow. A Chaminade team that is always disciplined against their helter-skelter opponents in Cardinal Hayes, as DeCruz will take over.
Both teams needing the victory. As you said, they're both 0-3. See if the elements play a factor tomorrow. Weather's not supposed to be much better tomorrow, from what I understand. It's obviously played a big factor tonight. Host of fumbles, turnovers.
Of course, we're getting the remnants of what is now Tropical Storm Ian.
Mm-hmm. Any friends or family in Florida, John?
No, but our hearts go out to them, and it's been a tough couple days for everybody down in Florida, so we're wishing you the best from the Varsity Media Sports. How about you, Jim?
My wife's got an aunt down in Florida. Actually, they just moved a few months ago, but they lost power, but not a lot of damage, thank God.
Well, thank goodness, yeah. It'll be 3rd and call it 6. The board says 8, but it's less than that, and St. Francis Prep in the red zone, but with the clock running, can't imagine DeCruz is going to pass anymore. He'll take it himself. The QB keeper, first down and more, inside the 10.
Fake the up back, reverse pivot, right over left tackle. As we mentioned in the pregame, DeCruz can definitely run and throw the ball. Here's your replay. Picked it to the up back. Got behind his blockers, heads to the sideline.
I'm trying to think of the best comparison for Isaiah DeCruz over the last few years, and you see a little Christian Anderson at Cardinal Hayes, maybe some Dante Torres at St. Anthony's, but a guy that can just run the ball but throw it at the same time. He's got a big-time arm, a guy that could probably play in the FCS at least,
yes,
or AA, a school like a Villanova, that tier, and you know, if he puts it together, like we mentioned, St. Francis Prep is going to be a tough out come playoff time.
He's kind of like the modern quarterback who has to be able to run as well as throw the ball. Get out of trouble, make plays last longer. Like I said, I was here last week. He did a great job in the second half on that against St. Joe by the Sea.
I think I've got the comparison, but it goes to Nassau Public School as on the keeper. This is Buchanan, and he's in for the score. Peyton Buchanan with the 7-yard TD run as the Terriers go up 34-0 behind another good job on the line, and Buchanan waltzes in.
Quick pitch to Buchanan, gets behind his blockers. Rotolo, another good block on the end. Buchanan going in. Listed at 5'11", 124 pounds. Brother Gavin played earlier for the Terriers. Recent graduate.
Has Mihalis kick the PAT. Good snap, good hold, as that was Gabriel Alcante, the junior, with the hold. And it's 35-0, and the clock winding down in the third quarter on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Under 5 minutes and counting on the Varsity Media Sports Network. With my partner, Jim Pittman, I'm John Perez. St. Francis Prep blowing the doors off of Cardinal Spellman. They've done it all tonight. Defense, offense, could even throw in the special teams. As Craig Middleton makes the catch inside the 5, and a good head of steam, and a good pickup for Middleton on a 20-yard carry. Will set up Cardinal Spellman just shy of the 30.
John McLaughlin on a special teams hit for St. Francis Prep with a tackle. Good field position, John. See if Spellman can make a game of this.
Well, they're going to have to start now, and they're going to have to score 2 touchdowns to at least get the clock to stop. Of course, in the Catholic League, when a team is up 28, the clock winds down, and we even saw a shortened halftime here. As Cardinal Spellman will go back out on offense. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 30. Up the gut. And a couple of yards on the carry for Manny DeJesus. Guy who normally has a good first step. Haven't seen him a lot in this contest, but one of the featured backs for the Pilots.
Also plays some defensive end.
Well, when you have 23 guys on the roster,
go,
everyone's
both
playing
ways.
everything. Yep.
He's listed at 5'10", 165 pounds. Senior out of Bronx.
Second down and 7. Ball comes loose. Lewis pressured in the backfield and gets nudged by Sharif Meminger, and a big tackle for loss.
Here we go. Lewis picks the ball up. It's a big hit here. Doesn't go down, and he gets surrounded by 8 Terriers. You look at a fight, you look around, you're surrounded by blue jerseys.
After all that, it'll be 3rd and 25. That's the 3rd fumble now for the Pilots, with 2 minutes to go in the 3rd.
Well, they started the game off with one.
Which led to a touchdown. Anthony Kalura scoring the first 2 touchdowns of the contest. Counted 3, but of course that was wiped off the board. And with 100 seconds to go in the quarter. Lewis to the flat. Pedro Pinheiro. And he goes back to the line of scrimmage. And we get a player shaken up for Cardinal Spellman. That's Jaden Diaz, the senior from the Bronx. As he'll take his time coming off.
I think Pinheiro might have stayed, better opportunity to stayed outside. He cut back against the grain, and St. Francis Prep was waiting on him. Even when you're down 35, you got to punt in this situation.
100%. O'Regan to punt it. High snap, handles it. And a line drive punt. Gets bobbled by Buchanan, but he scoops it up. Inside the 20, Peyton Buchanan with a pretty return. And a flag afterwards. We'll wait to see the penalty, but St. Francis Prep will be back on offense anyway, and that should do it for the 3rd quarter. As the time will wind down, 35-0 St. Francis Prep here at Mitchell Field. As now we get 3 quarters officially in the books. We're just waiting for the referees to give us the thumbs up. And that's that. 35-0 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
St. Francis Prep prepares young men and women for the world of tomorrow by immersing them in the Franciscan tradition's 4 golden links: intellectual, social, spiritual, and physical. Facilities that are second to none. Teachers who instruct and inspire. Values of peace, love, and respect for the individual, community, and environment. High school is 4 years. St. Francis Prep is forever.
Start of the 4th quarter here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, presented by Maspeth Federal Savings Bank. Alongside Jim Pittman, I'm John Perez. St. Francis Prep back out on offense. As Rich Carroll now going to his super subs and getting the carry on first down is Ariel Marin, and Marin the junior will pick up 6. As St. Francis Prep dipping into Their bench, we get a new quarterback as well, not listed on the roster as number 7. This is Nicholas Sirica, the senior.
Good time to get some experience. 35-0 lead for St. Francis Prep.
So 3rd and 2 as, you know what, this is good game experience for the second team for St. Francis Prep too, especially, you know, you're used to playing against your own guys as on the pitch now to the end zone and just tackled outside. As Will Spell will take over.
Here's the pitch around left end. Following his blockers. Good job that time by Ryan Reed leading the play. He wears number 34.
So Will Spell will go back out. And Randy Yu. Yep.
Randy option again. Went to the up back. Right over left tackle. Marion gained 4 on the play. Number 26.
Yeah, 26 is Ariel Marin. Number 13 is Randy Yu. Yu, a junior, 5'6", 145 pounds. Bouncing to the end zone, touchdown. Nicholas Sirica, the senior. And it's a 40 spot for the Terriers at home. Well, Sirica.
Simple dive play. Sirica, first man through on the option. Right over right tackle. Easy touchdown. Put the subs in, you run the same playbook, same results.
Oh, and Hasmond Hallis will come back on. Already 5 for 5 on the extra points. 14 of 14 on the year. Low snap, has to bunt it away, and it gets blocked, and the PAT unsuccessful. And that will do it for the opportunity for the Terriers. We'll step aside. With under 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, it's all Terriers on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
All right, everybody. Here at Guac Shop, catering is certainly our specialty. Our catering menu is comprised of various all-inclusive packages, ranging from 10 guests all the way up to 1,000. Our motto here at Guac Shop with catering, you handle the guest list, we'll handle the food. See you guys soon.
Back here at Mitchell Field, it's 41-0. Terriers over the Pilots in a non-league matchup in the Catholic League. St. Francis Prep playing out of the AA 1 league and AA 2 league for Cardinal Spellman. As the Terriers have brought out their second unit and getting some valuable experience and, of course, some rest for the Terriers as they've got a tall task next week against a very speedy Christ the King team.
Terriers looking for their first win on the season. Looks like they're well on their way. Pilots will try to get their first win next week at Holy Cross.
Craig Middleton with the short hop gets wrestled down at the 28-yard line.
I believe the Holy Cross Spellman game is in the Bronx. According to the schedule that I'm looking at.
That'll be in the Bronx. They get a pair of home games, their final 2 home games against Holy Cross and St. Dominic. and then at Xavier and at Xaverian. Xavier, a fun team to watch. They're a team that runs the wing T. It's a very old school approach, but one of the funnest teams to watch in New York City. We got a whistle, do not see a flag, and now we're all set. Lewis goes into the flat, incomplete in the direction of Salonia. Led him a little too much.
Caparo on the coverage. See if Lewis gets any time to throw as we head toward the end. Been an issue all evening for him. Hasn't had much time to do anything on offense. Has trouble holding on to the ball. Ball slipped out of his hand on one throw earlier. Forced it to fall on it.
And some subs on the line for the Terriers. Brandon Francis, Renzo Hernandez. Second team line. Gabriel Alcanti as well. And Barry Smallwood, the junior.
Craig Middleton on that carry for Cardinal Spellman. Middleton's a senior, 5'8", 140 pounds.
And it looks like we got a player down for the Terriers. Seems to be Brandon Recupero, one of the starters for the Terriers. St. Francis doesn't want to lose Recupero. And we're
very athletic, plays baseball. Had 2 interceptions against the Mount. Scored 2 touchdowns. Good player.
4:39 left in the fourth quarter. We'll step aside on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
All right, everybody. Here at Guac Shop, catering is certainly our specialty. Our catering menu is comprised of various all-inclusive packages, ranging from 10 guests all the way up to 1,000. Our motto here at Guac Shop with catering, you handle the guest list, we'll handle the food. See you guys soon.
Brian Recupero came back, which is good to see, and Pedro Pinheiro reversing field. Finally gets past the first down and shoved out of bounds by John McLaughlin, the senior.
Gained the first down by reversing his run. 5 yards forward, 50 yards across.
Be sure to stay tuned after the game. The Guac Shop postgame show hosted by Ben Turchin. We'll talk to our player of the game down on the field. And a number of many good players to choose from for the Terriers. With 3:35 left in the fourth quarter. Lewis flushed out of the pocket. Wrestled down. That was Andrew Kelly in there. He was also Jaden Bass with the takedown. And we'll get another look, Jim.
Got plenty of time in the pocket. He makes a bad decision by stepping to his left. Then he gets brought down in the backfield. Looking downfield, didn't find anybody open when he got flushed out left. No good results.
That was Christopher Felly.
Jordan Lewis is just a sophomore. You see he's got talent. He's got to get better protection, more weapons to work with. No, he didn't even play last year. He's a sophomore. He didn't get any workout last year. Learn by experience.
I'll call a personal foul penalty against the Terriers, so that gives the Pilots a fresh set of downs with 2:20 and counting in the fourth quarter. The snap hits Pinheiro. Middleton can't recover, and then it's finally pounced on. And the Pilots will keep it as that was Leonel Lara jumping on the loose ball.
Hit the man in motion with the ball on the snap.
That's just been the night for the Pilots.
Oh, yeah. Like you asked me earlier, Coach Cawley's got to go back to the drawing board and try to find some positives out of this game. Realize they played a very good team, even though they were both winless coming in. You see St. Francis Prep as a good club.
Lewis throws it away. Pressure coming in. That was Renzo Hernandez breathing down his neck. It'll be 2nd and 10. So perhaps 1 or 2 more plays for Cardinal Spellman. And what will be a wire-to-wire victory for St. Francis Prep as they'll pick up their first win of the year. And a late huddle by the Pilots with 50 seconds to go. And the contest now make it 51 as the clock stops. Lewis will take it himself and wrestle down. That was Jaden Bass, the junior, with the takedown. And this will bring up 4th down. Inside 30 seconds. And for Rich Carroll, he has to be satisfied with what he got out of his defense today and his offense cashing in as well.
Well, he kept the game simple. Win the line of scrimmage, keep the ball on the ground, overpower your opponent. Take advantage of turnovers.
Last gasp for the Pilots. Lewis taken down. Taken down in the backfield, Brandon Francis. And that'll put a bow on it. St. Francis Prep picks up their first win of the year. It was their defense, led by Brian Daly and Christopher Felly, leading the way for the Terriers as Anthony Kalura scored a pair of touchdowns, and the Terriers win it 41-0 at home to pick up their first win of the year. What a statement victory for the Terriers, Jim.
Excellent performance. Took advantage of Cardinal Spellman's turnovers. Kept the ball on the ground. Won the line of scrimmage. And they'll get ready for next week when they play Christ the King.
So the Terriers will get CTK. The Pilots, who fall to 0-4, are next in action against Holy Cross, another team from Queens, but that'll take place in the Bronx. We'll step aside. Guac Shop postgame show coming up next on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
The Real Taco Tuesday is finally here. Come join us over at Guac Shop October 4th to celebrate National Taco Day, featuring both styles that you guys love, crispy or soft tacos. $5.99 in-store only. Guac and queso is always extra. So I'll see you October 4th for National Taco Day. The Real Taco Tuesday is finally here. Come join us over at Guac Shop October 4th to celebrate National Taco Day, featuring both styles that you guys love, crispy or soft tacos. $5.99 in-store only. Guac and queso is always extra. So I'll see you October 4th for National Taco Day. The real Taco Tuesday is finally here. Come join us over at Guac Shop October 4th to celebrate National Taco Day, featuring both styles that you guys love, crispy or soft tacos. $5.99 in-store only. Guac and queso is always extra. So I'll see you October 4th for National Taco Day.
A statement victory for St. Francis Prep. They win at 41-0. It's the Guac Shop postgame show hosted by Ben Turchin, who's down on the field.
Thank you. I mean, we executed today. We did everything we had to do. O-line had amazing blocks. You know, we did what we had to do. Defense stopped them 3 and out almost every drive. You know, we worked hard for this. You know, weeks at camp, weeks at practice. You know, hard couple weeks these past weeks, but you know, we pulled through.
Anthony, Guac Shop is our post-game sponsor, and because you guys are victorious for all of you today, you're getting a 3-group dinner. How cool is that?
That's amazing! Let's go!
So, all right, guys, all right. Wait, you need the details. So for that, I want to bring in Joe with Guac Shop. We want to thank him for sponsoring and thank him for giving you guys this great dinner. Joe, take it away, Joe.
So St. Francis Prep, as you know, has won a free group dining dinner over at our Wanto location. You can do it for $10.99 any person, and you get guac or queso, chips, drink, free meal.
All right. First question. Do you guys like Mexican food? Of course. All right, so that's a big win. We're going to send it back up to John. Congratulations again, guys.
I mean, I can't think of a more happy and now hungrier group of guys. St. Francis Prep with a 41-0 victory. I think Gian Manciamelli was the happiest. Anthony Kalura scoring a couple of touchdowns. One last point before we go, Jim Pittman. For St. Francis Prep, you'd have to imagine that a victory like this, a statement victory, they're hoping that this snowballs into something better.
Well, you saw a turnaround last week in the second half against a quality team in St. Joe's by the Sea, and he has continued on today, took advantage of a weak Cardinal Spellman team, and they'll be getting ready next week for St. Christ the King.
It should be a fun one next week. A great rivalry, St. Francis Prep and Christ the King. And if you're following on the Varsity Media website, keep it locked for tomorrow. We've got a good one. Chaminade and Cardinal Hayes. So that'll do it from Mitchell Field for our cameraman Angelo Caiazzo and Ron Pierre. Technical director is Chris Sweeney. Executive producer extraordinaire Ben Turchin. For my color analyst Jim Pittman, this is John Perez saying so long from Mitchell Field. This has been a presentation of Varsity Media Sports presented by Maspeth Federal Savings Bank.